Okay, we have a short problem here regarding some ionic compounds. This says a student learns that ionic compounds have significant covalent character when a cation has a polarizing effect on a large anion. As a result, the student hypothesizes that salts composed of small cations and large anions should have relatively low melting points. So the first part says select two compounds from the table and explain how the data support the student's hypothesis. So let's talk about the size of these anion, or the size of these ions, right? So first of all, lithium iodide, right? Lithium is very small. That's in the N equals 2, and iodide is very large. That is the fourth halogen down, right? So we're in N equals 5 already. Ki, so potassium is much larger than lithium because it's 2 below. It goes lithium, sodium, potassium. So potassium is much larger, and iodide is the same. We'll keep that. And then lithium, again, is very small, and fluoride is also very small. So we'll keep those, roughly the same looking. And then sodium is a little bigger than lithium, but not as big as potassium. And then again, fluoride is very small. So these are the 4 compounds we're talking about. Obviously, this is just, this is an approximation. This is not trying to accurately represent the ionic radii, but we're just saying which ones are bigger than others, which are bigger and which are smaller in terms of the cation and the anion. So we're looking at something, we want to talk about something with a small cation and a large anion. So which is the one that has the smallest cation and the largest anion? That would be this, right? Lithium iodide. Lithium is the smallest cation here. It's smaller than potassium and it's smaller than sodium. And iodide is the biggest anion here. It's bigger than fluoride, right? We either have fluoride or iodide. So when it says select 2 compounds from the table and explain how the data support the student's hypothesis, this one has to be in there because this is the one that's demonstrating the hypothesis. Because we look over here at the melting point, and this has the lowest melting point. So that already starts to make sense, but we have to compare it to something else to make sure. So we could compare it to potassium iodide, right? So we see that from lithium iodide to potassium iodide, potassium is bigger than lithium, and the melting point goes up, right? So that is consistent with the hypothesis. Or we could compare lithium iodide to lithium fluoride, and we could see from lithium iodide over to lithium fluoride, the anion gets much, much smaller. And because of that, the melting point goes up. So that is, again, consistent with the hypothesis. Or we could look at this and we see both trends occurring. From lithium iodide to sodium fluoride, the cation gets larger and the anion gets smaller, and we see the most dramatic increase in melting point. This has the highest melting point of these 4 compounds. So when you're selecting your pair, this must be one of them, and then you can use any of the other 3, but you have to utilize this rationale, right? If we're talking about small cations and large anions, then cation getting bigger or anion getting smaller should cause the melting point to increase, and it does for any case any comparison that we make. So that makes sense. Now, this is a completely different question, but identify a compound from the table that can be dissolved in water to produce a basic solution. Write the net ionic equation for the reaction that occurs to cause the solution to be basic. So these are all water soluble. So which could generate a basic solution? So in order to generate a basic solution, we need this to dissociate and produce a base. So obviously the anion is the thing that could potentially be basic. So iodide or fluoride, which one do we think is going to be more basic? Certainly fluoride is more basic because it's much smaller. It's less capable of stabilizing that negative charge because of its small size. An iodide ion is very, very large, so it can diffuse that negative charge around a greater volume and thus stabilize that negative charge. The iodide ion is very, very, very stable. That's why hydroiodic acid is such an incredibly strong acid, because iodide is so stable on its own, it doesn't need the proton. Whereas Hydrofluoric acid is a relatively weak acid because fluoride is somewhat unstable. So there's actually an equilibrium there, right? Some of it will deprotonate, some of it won't, because the fluoride also really likes to get a proton and go back to becoming HF. So certainly fluoride is the more basic anion, and so we can choose any of these. We can choose lithium fluoride or sodium fluoride. Let's use sodium fluoride. Now, if we're doing a net ionic equation, the sodium ion is a spectator ion because it dissociates. So we have sodium plus and we have F minus, but the sodium plus won't be in the net ionic equation because it doesn't do anything, right? Fluoride is the one that is interacting with water, right? We're in aqueous solution. Fluoride is going to interact with water to generate HF and the hydroxide ion. And it is this hydroxide ion that makes the solution slightly basic, right? If we have hydroxide in solution, the pH will be greater than 7 to some extent, and we'll have a basic solution. So we had to recognize that fluoride is much, much more basic than iodide, and that fluoride can interact with water to generate HF and hydroxide ions. So that's a little bit about some of these ionic compounds.